It seems to be going pretty well. I think we've got a really talented group at OpenAI, and
Seems like it.
yeah, really talented team, and they're working hard. OpenAI is structured as a 501c3 nonprofit, but many nonprofits do not have a sense of urgency. It's fine; they don't have to have a sense of urgency, but OpenAI does, because I think people really believe in the mission.
It seems like there's almost no one who hasn't heard of ChatGPT in 2023. The funny thing is that this little clip with Elon Musk is from when the company was still young, and before it even shared this amazing AI product with the world. Post-launch, it boasted some world record statistics. 1 week after launch, it had 1 million users. It took Facebook 10 months to get to 1 million, and Spotify 2.5 years. Mind you, these are both massive apps that almost everyone knows about. The best part is that there are some other world record statistics to be broken, and it has everything to do with your money. I've taken the time to research the ins and outs of ChatGPT and one of the original investors, Elon Musk, to see what I could find out, and the results are crazy. It turns out that ChatGPT may be one of the best investments you'll ever make in your life, and I'm going to show you why and how you can get your hand in it. It all starts with this.
Pretty impressed with what people are doing and the talent level, and obviously we're always looking for great people to join who believe in the mission.
Close to 40.
And Elon Musk should be impressed for good reason. But what actually is ChatGPT, and who's the amazing creator behind it?
Who is it?
Who is it?
ChatGPT is known as an AI bot created by a company called OpenAI. Elon Musk credits himself with the naming of this company and many of the working elements.
The reason I am the reason OpenAI exists.
How much money did you give them?
I'm not sure the exact number, but it's some number on the order of $50 million.
That's quite an investment. This powerful little tool has the ability to answer questions on any topic you present it with, do all sorts of little tasks, and can write you a bunch of texts. This can range from a simple sentence to an entire book, or even your college essays. In fact, it's even managed to pass the law school bar exam in the top 10%. Even more, it can have entire conversations with you, remember what you talked about it with, and even write code to develop programs. But how on earth does it know how to do this?
By ingesting a huge amount of text, a significant fraction of the internet, this AI system can learn the underlying representations of what these words mean, how they relate, do a little bit of something that is sort of like reasoning, sort of like understanding what you as a user want some of the time, not always, not perfectly, and try to help you.
Simply enough, ChatGPT is just massive storage of data and has become really good at understanding relationships between words, texts, and sentences to help answer your questions. To understand this a little better, let's use an example of how we, as humans, learn. When we try to learn something new, like a new skill, we have to practice that skill, right? For instance, when we want to learn how to play an instrument, we need to play that instrument, get our hands and fingers used to how the instrument plays, and slowly develop skills and connections between certain things like notes, scales, chords, and sounds in general. Once we start accumulating data on how to play, we get better and better and learn how to make connections more easily and create a network of information on how to play the instrument. This is generally how ChatGPT learns to answer questions well and find proper resources. The greatest part is the more we ask it questions, the more quickly it learns and the faster it'll give better and better answers. The power of this AI model is unrivaled and can help people from all sorts of fields. Whether they be bloggers, writers, researchers, or company workers of all sorts, there's really nothing it can't do. In fact, the same creators first released a cool AI model known as DALL-E, which generates awesome art pieces through prompts you give it. Obviously, ChatGPT greatly overshadowed its success.
Engaged me in looking at, okay, how do we take advantage of this? Through my foundation work, looking at, okay, how do health systems use this? And how do education systems use this for things like a personal tutor? So I'm actually quite enthused. Yes, I'm getting to see the latest versions.
A sudden turn of events happened, however. It started as an open source nonprofit platform, but it switched to a monetized plan. The biggest reason was that their servers simply couldn't handle the number of people wanting to use it. Even to this day, many people still use it in huge quantities as it gets an estimated 1 billion users monthly and 100 million active users.
There won't be anything in AI that replaces a gene. I'll state that unqualifiedly. It can do amazing things. It can do all kinds of things.
Now, let's think about this. Imagine how much OpenAI has made on ChatGPT alone. It's predicted that it'll make $200 million by the end of 2023 and a whopping $1 billion by the end of 2024.
Whoa.
At this point, it's very unlikely that a rival can take over this sector, and it's just simply grown too fast. And it's so popular that it'll probably overshadow any new companies. One recent event of competition is Google's Bard, which didn't even make a splash, as many people hadn't even heard of it.
Yeah, so I've been thinking about AI for a long time, since I was in college, really. It was one of the things that, the sort of 4 or 5 things I thought would really affect the future dramatically.
Just like Elon Musk says here, AI is going to make a huge impact in the world, and probably a lot bigger than many of us realize. But there's another angle that I'd like you to look at. Think about how much money the investors are going to get from this hugely skyrocketing company. What if I told you that you can be a part of this group that benefits from this rapid growth? What if I told you that you could be a shareholder? If you want to find out just how to do that, then make sure to stick around until the end of the video, because I'll show you just how to do it. So, how do you invest in ChatGPT?
Tell me.
It turns out that OpenAI is a privately owned company. In other words, you can't buy shares on the stock market since it's not a publicly listed company. However, before you lose all hope, there's a way to invest in them, but you need to go through another company. In fact, there's one company that has invested billions of dollars in OpenAI, and that's none other than Microsoft.
Microsoft is not willing again to lose a next revolution. If you look the last 20 years, they are very good at losing revolutions. The revolution of the internet they lost, the mobile they lost, etc. You see it in the metaverse where with their investment of $79 billion on a competitor, they're not willing to lose.
The first time Microsoft invested in OpenAI was in 2019. This was before the release of any major AI models that we've come to know. They were so confident in OpenAI that they put a massive $1 billion into the company. At this time, however, there wasn't a plan to monetize OpenAI. It was a free resource for anyone to use, unlike Facebook or Google. But as I said earlier, the company changed its mind and now proclaims itself as a capped profit company.
Profit.
This wasn't the only time that Microsoft placed money into this company. Turns out that they added another amount in 2023 after the huge surge in popularity. This time, Microsoft decided to invest a massive $10 billion. Yes, you heard that right, $10 billion! This allowed OpenAI to scale up massively and even further fuel its growth into unprecedented territory. With their new premium pricing model, Microsoft struck a deal with OpenAI. For now, Microsoft would receive 75% of profits earned until the entire investment amount is returned. Then it'll reduce to 49%.
Wow, that's a lot of money, but...
With that being said, it's pretty obvious that Microsoft owns a lot of OpenAI. This means that owning shares of Microsoft is almost like owning OpenAI itself. But there are more benefits than you may realize. If you own Microsoft, you own a lot more than just OpenAI. You also own every single service that Microsoft has created and controls. One of the most upcoming and popular of these is Microsoft Azure. This is a cloud service that OpenAI actually uses to allow it to function properly. Without it, OpenAI would cease to exist. But let's talk about what really matters here. How much profit can you expect?
They have already bet on OpenAI because they've already invested $1 billion in OpenAI in the past, and they have an exclusive right. And all the service now is being done over Azure.
As I've said before, OpenAI is profit capped, but what exactly does that mean? It means that there's a restriction on the allowable profit that investors put into the platform. Once that number is reached, then they can't earn any more from an investment. The current limit is 100 times the investment you put in. That means if you invested $10,000, you would max out at $1 million. If we look at Microsoft's investment into OpenAI, their $1 billion would turn into $100 billion plus the profit that they're getting from their later $10 billion investment. That's a great deal, right? The sad reality is that since ChatGPT is doing so well, and since OpenAI doesn't really care about satisfying investors, they've hinted that they may lower that 100 times cap as time goes on. But here's an interesting thought. Since the investors' money never really gets returned to them, what happens with the rest after the cap is reached? OpenAI has said that excess profits will go to nonprofit organizations. I mean, this sounds absolutely wonderful, but it's not the best end for investors. Elon Musk made a tweet talking about how OpenAI has transitioned from an open-source not-for-profit company to a closed-source for-profit company. Now, since it's close to profit, and you want to find a way to invest, then you need to go through Microsoft, which owns about 1/3 of ChatGPT right now. But there's some more good news. Microsoft also owns Microsoft Word, which many of us use every single day, the Bing search engine, and the operating system Windows. That means if ChatGPT randomly fails and disappears, you won't lose money thanks to diversification.
All that diversification and that, consistency. I will reduce my risk by 80% without reducing my return. And that means I improve my return to risk ratio by a factor of 5.
And as Warren Buffett so eloquently stated, diversity is one of the best ways to protect yourself from market volatility and financial harm. So, if you purchase shares of Microsoft, you won't just buy into ChatGPT, but all of the services Microsoft offers, giving you automatic diversification. To take matters a step further, there will be more and more companies that want a part of ChatGPT and its services. So, the rapidly growing Microsoft Azure is becoming a staple. More and more companies are using this cloud service to have access to OpenAI's model to use for themselves, meaning the more you earn as an investor in Microsoft. I'm sure you want to get some shares of Microsoft right now, so I'll show you how. To start, you need to sign up with a brokerage to buy stocks from. When you create an account with them, search for the ticker symbol MSFT. When you find it, select the Buy Shares option. Either say how many shares you want to buy or the amount of money you want to invest. Place the order, and now you have your shares. Before you run off and invest, it's important to do your research. That means making sure you pick a reliable stockbroker and understand the ins and outs of Microsoft. Remember, I'm not giving you investing advice, but just sharing information. It's up to you to decide what to do with your money. To get truly wealthy, however, you need to be patient. Don't expect massive returns overnight, even with anomalies like ChatGPT and OpenAI. The real profits will come years down the line to the point of doubling, tripling, or even quadrupling your initial investments. As Ray Dalio said, never invest for short-term gain, but with long-term vision. That's how you'll get crazy profits. Let us know what you think of OpenAI and if you think it's a good investment. Subscribe to the channel and share this video with friends, and we'll see you in the next video.